This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
She gives so much insight when it comes to people and pets, specifically dogs and the interaction between us and our pets. And we're going to dig deeper into that relationship today, look at it from a different angle, if you will. She's an animal behavioral expert. That's the label I'm putting on her because she knows what they do and why they do it. And she goes real deep at this kind of stuff, including service dogs can help you train your dog for service and just make some changes. She's the woman behind the Animal Psychology Center, and it's so great to have her back with us. Katherine Andrews is on the program. How are you doing today?
Hey, Steve, doing really well. I wanted to go back and talk about a case that I did, trained a dog for a young lady who was at the time thinking about going to college, wanted to go to college and could not because she was homebound by her disabilities. She had such severe PTSD and anxiety. And our parents were very worried that she was never going to live on her own. They said she's at this point cannot live on her own. And they brought her to come and see me. They lived in another part of the country. And she met a dog named Bella, a yellow lab. And it was love at first sight. And so I said, well, let's train Bella for you and see what happens. And when Valerie left that day, this is how excited Bella was that she was going to be her dog. She broke a window trying to get through because she didn't want Valerie to leave her. And so Bella was already certified and she went home with Valerie and then we did some training. And anyway, long story short, and by the way, Valerie and Bella, because Bella recently passed and I heard from Valerie, she's on the front page of the website and she wrote me a beautiful letter that made me cry about Bella's passing and everything that Bella had meant to her. And Valerie did a blog about Bella throughout her life. And that's really interesting to read too, which you can, when you go to the website, you can read that blog. It went on for years. But so what happened is not only was she able to live on her own and go to college and graduate and get a job, but she met a wonderful man. She got married. She had 2 children. And although she still struggled with her disability, she had migraines and headaches, and she had some things that were hard to diagnose, and she was in and out of the emergency room. But throughout that, Bella made it possible for her to live somewhat of a normal life, and it wouldn't have been possible without Bella. And so it was very emotional when Bella passed. And so if you're interested, go on the website and take a look at that. And what was funny was their picture ended up going worldwide. It was on so many different magazines and Reddit, and People Magazine has this big issue that they come out with every year, and it made like the middle page. It was like the centerfold of People Magazine. And right before Valerie was going to walk down the aisle with her husband, she started having an anxiety attack, and Bella made her stop. And the photographer got a picture of them. Valerie kneeled down, and Bella was comforting her. It was a beautiful shot. And that picture was all over the world. And the day that happened, I got like 146 emails, and the person who was doing my website was like, what the hell did you do? Because, the website just exploded.
Wow.
But, so, yeah, I wanted to share that story with everyone. It's a beautiful story. And what reminded me of that was I was training a standard poodle named Pink, who went home with a wonderful lady who has, like Valerie, anxiety, PTSD, panic attacks. And she and her husband, they live in Dallas, South Dakota. Didn't even know there was a Dallas, South Dakota. And she was sharing with me, she said, our daughter is having grand mal seizures while she's driving and while she's sleeping, which is really tough because how do you circumvent, how do you know? And I said, well, the answer is going to be a dog, because a dog can monitor your heart rate, blood pressure, blood chemistry, and they can tell you and prepare you so you never have that seizure. And so she was like, oh my God, what a lifesaver that's going to be for her. And so our plan is, they're just in the beginning stages of diagnosis, and we're going to get a solid diagnosis, figure out what the deal is, and then we're going to get a standard poodle like the one mom has, and start to train her for the daughter, because she was getting in little fender benders and she couldn't remember. And they were like, what the hell are you doing? Are you drinking? Because she's at college, are you drinking? Are you on drugs? They couldn't figure it out. And then her roommate happened to see her. No one knew she was having seizures, have a seizure while she was asleep on the couch. And
Wow.
they were able to, from there, start to get a diagnosis and figure out that this poor girl is having seizures. And she said sometimes she would come downstairs while she's at home with mom and dad, and she looked like hell. And they were like, what are you doing? Again, parents always think drugs, alcohol, whatever.
Yep. Yep.
And she's like, mom and dad, I'm really not. I'm really not. And she's like, we feel so bad, because we were so, we were so worried about her, and we were like, chastising her. And she said, come to find out, this poor girl's having seizures, but there's seizures that she doesn't know about.
Wow. I mean, I've often heard dogs can sniff out cancer. They can tell if maybe a stroke is imminent. But I didn't really process the depth of how they're aware of all your vitals. Amazing.
Yeah. I have a guy who's a service veteran. He has a lab that I trained for him. And he was able to get off a lot of his meds that were keeping him from having a job. He's a counselor. He's back at work now. But he said that on the day when he's going to have a seizure or anxiety attack, that dog knows in the morning. Also a night terror. That dog will start to prepare him in the morning so that it never happens. And he said, I know it. He said he starts to prepare me, and it never happens. And he said, I have not had a night terror or an anxiety attack or a seizure in 6 months since we have been together. He's like so good at predicting these things. So he was on like 6 meds, and he's been able to go off 4 of them.
Wow. Doesn't
that just blow your mind?
All of this does. And I had to search for Valerie and Bella, and sure enough, it's everywhere. The pictures of
Did you see the picture of the wedding? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Isn't it beautiful?
Very much so. Even the picture of the groom with Valerie, and then also Valerie obviously having some anxiety, and how Bella is up there comforting her, and it's everywhere. Yeah, 1.6 million views on Reddit.
I know, right?
The Daily
Right.
Mail in the UK covered it.
I know.
And you know what's really weird? And things happen for a reason. I looked at Valerie's
Yeah.
last name because it was part of the story. I just met somebody with the same exact last name. Not that common. I feel it's weird that they just, I met them through somebody else, and maybe working with them or whatever it is. But it's like, how weird is that? And now you're bringing this up. Tell me about that relationship. I'm just kind of curious of how that went along, how it was determined that Bella had the skills to detect things in Valerie, her anxiety, the seizures and things like that. Can you go a little bit deeper on that?
Well, she has the genetics for it because she's a hunting dog.
Okay.
Just like standard poodles are hunting dogs, they have genetics for it. And when they met, it was like, phew,
Wow.
like instant chemistry. Like Bella was just like so focused on her, and Valerie was just like, it's kind of like when people talk about falling in love. What's the saying? Love at first sight.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And then Bella tries to go through a window, tries to jump through a window. She actually cracked the glass to go after Valerie. And
What was going on
I
at
mean,
that very
that's
moment?
there's no way that someone could tell me that that dog didn't know that she could do that job and that she was going to save that kid. That dog knew, hands down.
What was she
Hey,
trying? What was Bella trying to say by going to the window, almost through the window? What was going on at that moment?
she was like, hands down, saying, "I can help this kid. I can do this job." Because she was already certified as a service dog. She already gone through her test. She already knew that she was going to find her person. We talked about it, and she was
Wow.
going to do this job. And she was telling me, "Don't let anybody else fill this position. I want this job. Don't let her leave. Don't let her go." And so that's what was going on.
Mm.
And her parents, when they got back to their hotel, I called them and I said, "This dog almost went through the window." And she said, like, Valerie, it was so happy on the way to the hotel. She was crying. She was like, "Mom and Dad, I think I have a shot at living my life." And her parents were like, we didn't think she could live on her own. We didn't think that she was ever going to be able to move out. And so it was like a happy fest, going on there. And
Hmm. Yeah, it's wonderful, and this goes back to what you said a while ago, and I haven't forgotten this. It's always on my mind when I'm with my dog that dogs have a job. They want to work, whatever that job is. Whether it's just walking along the pavement sniffing for other dogs, they think they're doing their job, even when they're, peeing outside. That's their job to camouflage and all of that. But that's their purpose. Like, well, my dog, it's not just about, hey, I need to go outside. Come on, let's go. It's, dude, I got work to do outside. You got to take me out.
I got emails to check here. Hang on, I need to check this tree out. I need to, and that's why I tell people, when they have a dog, a service dog or just a dog, that's
Sure.
a family dog. Let them stop and meet people. When people stop and they're like, "Hey, can I pet your dog?" There's a way to do that. We talked about that. But let that dog have a purpose. And that is true of every living creature. Every living creature wants to have a purpose, wants to be proud, wants to wants people or their peers to say, "Yay, you're doing good. I appreciate you, and you have a place in this world, and you're providing some."
Value.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good word.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're doing something. And it's that could be the most important thing in the world to them. We may minimize it, not even thinking about it, but that's a big deal for them. And then now elevated when it is truly a job or position like Bella had. But who's to say that any other dog can't do that if it's identified? Because apparently they all have certain skills, as you talk about the
Yes.
breeds.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. They're out there, and the right dog, if you're looking for one, the right dog is out there, and when you find them, it's unmistakable. And they know, they'll volunteer for that job. And once you guys get together and you start working I tell people this is a journey that it's going to require some work, but it's going to be fun, and you're
Mm.
going to learn a lot about yourself. And
Yeah.
this partnership is going to enhance your life in ways that you have no idea how.
Mm. You've said what is the best description? Partnership. It's a partnership. It's not like I own a dog. Ew.
Yeah,
Don't,
right.
don't ever say that. I might
It's
slap
really,
you upside the head.
I know, right? It's really nice that the human race is evolving to the point where we have respect for other creatures. And I was thinking about that the other day, remember how we talked about how when I go into zoos, everybody wants to talk to me because I'm on that animal station,
Hmm.
that channel. And it's nice to see how we're not just putting them in cages or enclosures. We're making environments for them and we're respecting how they want to live and the food that they eat. And we're informing people about who they are and how they enhance the environment and so forth. So, yeah, we're becoming better as a species. We're becoming wiser, and that
You
makes
just
me feel good.
sparked something in my mind. In my town, there's a I'm trying to think of the right words for it, but it's like a mini zoo, and the town has run it for decades. So many thousands, tens of thousands of children, mine included, grew up going there, petting the goats, the llamas, and everything, and they just closed it. And there were words of concerned people that the animals weren't being cared for properly. I can't address that because I'm not there. I didn't see it.
Yeah,
But I look at that with sadness because,
yeah.
and if the town did not keep proper tabs on it, they were funding it, to a point. Shame on them. But what a wonderful resource done right for us humans to connect with animals. At one point, there was bears there. This is a small
Oh,
town, situation.
maybe
Um,
they can resurrect it because I
mhm,
think things like that, when kids have hands-on
yeah.
with animals, I've done programs, I still do some with public schools where we take not only, dogs and cats, but, doves or guinea pigs or little goats. Because a lot of times kids that grow up in the city, they don't know that these animals have feelings, and how do you hold them and how do you, so
Mm,
they grow up with that memory and they respect animals. They don't treat them badly because they met them at a young age and it made an impression. And so I think things like that are important, but it is
agree.
important that they live in a place where they're happy. And
And now I'm starting to get angry thinking that now this place is closed. This is within the last couple of weeks that where I live, there's the highest taxes in the country, and the roads
yeah,
stuck
yeah.
here. You know, you can't fix the. Okay, well then take the money and put it into the damn zoo and do it right.
Right,
Because
right.
I have memories, even as an adult, not even just bringing kids, but me just looking, at the monkey cage and like communicating back and forth with them and looking at them in a natural habitat and the sloth is sleeping or whatever it might be. A wonderful experience and a local one, but it's a shame when those things close because that, if they were done right, that's our connection to them and really truly connecting if you're intentional about it. I mean,
Yeah.
I never asked you.
Maybe contact somebody in the local media and plant the seed. Maybe, I'm sure that there might be some people that feel the same way and might want to resurrect that
I am
place.
the local media. That's the problem.
You might be, yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but short of that, there's going to be a lot of pushback because animal advocates will be saying, "Well, they weren't taking care of it," and I can't even address that. I didn't research it. I'm not going to assume. I know it's costly, but I never asked you this. In your home area where you do your
Mhm.
thing, how many dogs, animals, cats? What do you got going on over there?
Well, I mean, I have had larger numbers than I've had. I mean, when I had my Humane Society, there was a time when I had, 25 dogs of my own,
Oof.
only because, I couldn't, I would look at them and go, I just can't euthanize you, I got to take you home, and I ended up with higher numbers. But currently I have 4 dogs and I think I have 8 cats. And I've thought about getting a little couple burros, rescues. I donate to other to nonprofits, and I've had a nonprofit. I ran a humane society for years just outside of Dallas. But I've thought about getting other some other animals, but
Mm,
and I've also thought about resurrecting a nonprofit. The animals are really great at helping people with grief. And I have seen my
mm.
own animals help heal people with grief. So I've also thought about
Wow.
in my retirement, semi-retirement, which I'm going into actually, having a center where people could come. My animals in particular are very good at healing because they help me with aggression cases. So they have that intuition already, but a place where people could come and heal, like when they've had the loss of a child or a tragedy or, you know, divorce or something like that, where they
Mm.
could come and heal with animals because animals are very healing.
I love that. And it's my belief going through a journey, like realizing certain things. Um, we all have grief, every single one of us, and pretty much at all times. Where am I going with that? What's grief? Loss. So you may have lost a relative, close relative, 30 years ago, 20, whatever.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
probably still deep down inside dealing with it. Loss of a relationship, loss of, let's say, some of your mobility as you get older, or if you suffer,
yeah,
and well, all of that. We all got it going on. So beautiful to have a center like that, um, where animals can help us heal.
yeah.
Mm.
Something that's, I'm thinking about.
Wow. What do you want us to know when it comes to connecting with animals?
Gosh, that that they're always around you, and that when you feel at your maybe at your lowest, that connecting with an animal might be the exact thing that you need to start to climb out of that spot of feeling that that you're not enough, or that you're maybe life is too hard. And I've seen that happen with people. I've seen animals do amazing things in hospice too, helping people to move on and to transition, because sometimes that's a very scary thing, is people going from this place to the next place.
Mm.
So, yeah, yeah. And I always say that if you ask for it, the universe provides. And I've seen that happen in my life again and again. That I'll say, okay, what's the next step, universe? And then it appears.
Mm.
So putting that out there today about that grief and healing center, I wouldn't be surprised if I start to get some feedback from that. And
I got a very
so
good feeling about that as soon as you said it. I
really,
really
yeah,
did. Yeah, I really did. Like, yes, yes, but to be intentional so we know what it's for. Because I don't believe we realize that we're grieving in many regards, or that animals can support us in so many different ways. We just, and yes, we take a lot of it for granted. We come home, there's the dog, he comes up, hey, how you doing? You don't realize what that dog is doing for you and how he or she gets you. They got you. They figured you out. They figured you out a long time ago. You haven't figured them out yet. But they're always processing, always looking. Um, there's times like I think I just want to go home and hook my cat. Not even
yeah,
kidding. Like,
yeah,
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 and because and I think you know what? I think it needs me too. Like when I walk through the door, he's standing on the counter and he's going like this with his paws. I'm not exaggerating. And he's like, "Meow," and I'm like, I go to him like, "Meow." He's like, "Meow." I'm like, I go over, grab him, hug him, I put him back down again. He drools, gets all over the place, but whatever. Um, it's wonderful once we intentionally make that connection that we are so connected with them. I don't think we realize it to the extent that we should because they're there to support us. We're supporting them. You know what? We don't pay them. We pay them in
yeah.
food, but they have jobs.
There's
They just work.
a lot to learn from animals. I always say they are masters at unconditional love. We talk about it, write about it, make movies and poems about it, but we are not good at unconditional love. Animals are masters at it.
This is the truth. I'm throwing out into the universe the Animal Grief Support Center.
Thank you. Yes, I'd love
Yeah.
to hear from our listeners about that, and
Yes.
see what people have to say about that.
Yeah. You know what? If even if you have a story about grief, your pet,
Hmm.
them
Hmm.
helping you overcome certain things, instant feedback, steve@gmail.com. And Catherine, you can help people change the behavior of their animals if need be, train service animals. And amazingly, all of this can be done virtually, or the majority of it.
Mhm.
Starting point, what's your website?
Animalpsychologycenter.com.
Love it. I'm going to put up signs. Hug a dog. Hug a dog today. we we should. We need to.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
have a little sign that my dog on the service dog vest that says "Need a hug?" question mark. And I know a
Mm,
lot of trainers don't like for their dogs to interact with people, but I feel the opposite. I love for my dogs to interact with people because I think, I saw a guy at Walmart and he got to hug my big Connie Corso, and she put her head in his lap, and I could just feel all the love that she was giving him. And he said, "It just made my day," and I knew it did. So
mm.
how could,
It's
yeah.
I do marketing and I work with a chain of funeral homes, and they have animal support, grief support dogs. And I
Wow, that
see
is
it in,
wonderful.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's
and
great.
and it's not just, well, I just brought my dog into work today.
Hmm. Hmm.
No, the dog was
That
trained
dog has
for it.
a job and he comes into work and he knows what his job is. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Always great talking with you, Catherine. Thank you for
Thank
all
you, Steve.
the insight and the awareness. And if I can help you with the grief support center, I'm there for you. Love it.
Okay, sounds good. All
All right,
right, take care, my friend.
you got it. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.